Okay, YouTube, back on the video. This is a follow-up to the previous video I just uploaded. And this is just going to give more clarification on what I was talking about. Okay? Before I do that, I want to play this clip for you from the movie called Class Act.
Now, reading is fundamental. Now let's get on with this school thing. You teach.
Oh yes, reading is fundamental.
Teach. Now let's get on. Reading is fundamental. Now, reading is fundamental. Now let's get on with this school thing. You teach.
I guess I can place myself in his shoes. You know what I'm saying? This guy right here. When he's telling you all that reading is fundamental, because you break the word apart, reading is supposed to be fun for your mental, for your brain. Okay? Now, what I want to do is, I want to come from a couple of different sources, right? And we're going to talk about anthropomorphism. And we're going to talk about what is meditation. Okay? Alright, so strap your seatbelts on and let's go on a ride. Now, what I want to do is, I want to go here to use this. I'm just using this for educational purposes only. Shaka almost in the black church, he's describing the same thing. Now listen to the message. He's reading the same definitions that I've read from off of Wikipedia. Now remember that these definitions that we read these definitions that we read, like with the spirit, breath, air, wind, and things like that, these come from men's thought forms, imaginations. It comes from other people's minds. Okay? Now, let's go.
And then it says, perhaps based on the Latin relegare, meaning to bind. Okay? This is from the New Oxford American Dictionary. So when you're talking about religion, you're talking about commitment. That's all you're talking about. You're talking about commitment, obligation, bond, to bind, to fasten. Okay? This is what religion means. It means that you are committed to something. Okay? Now, we're going to explore that again in a few minutes, and it's important why. Let's look at number 2. All right? When people talk about spirit, remember I said religion and spirituality are not the same thing. Now, when you look up the word spirituality, it's always going to redirect you to spirit, because spirit is the root word. So now let's look at the word spirit, and let's look at the origin. Okay? The origin is Middle English, just like religion. But this one is from, as opposed to being from the French, this one is from the actually it is, but it's from the Anglo-Norman French. So it's a different version of French. It's from the Anglo-Norman French, right? And the Anglo-Norman French spirit comes from the Latin spiritus, which means what? Breath. Spirit from spirit. Now spirit, when you hear the word spirit, you've been taught to think one thing except for what the word actually means. The word means breath. Spirit, meaning it's a spirit from what? Spirare, breathe. Do you see that? Breathe. That means anytime you're talking about religion, the only thing that you can be talking about is commitment. Nothing else. You can't be talking about nothing else. Anytime you're talking about spirit, you can only be talking about what? What is this, Tanetta? Breathe. Breathing. That's all you're talking about. Nothing. Put it back here, please, so they can see it. Because if you don't believe me, perhaps you believe the dictionary. And if you're too stupid to believe in the dictionary, I mean, to believe the dictionary, I can't help you. All right? I mean, not that the dictionary always gets it right either. That's why we're going to go further. So, here you have spirit. It means, again, origin, Middle English, from the Anglo-Norman French, from Latin spiritus, meaning breath. Spirit from spirare, breathe. No matter which way you go, spirit can only mean breathe. Spirituality only refers to your breathing, nothing else. If you use it any other way, you do not know what you are talking about. You've never read a dictionary and you don't know anything about the definition of the word. You're using it like a trained monkey and applying it to things that have nothing to do with spirituality. Spirituality is not what you wear. Spirituality is not where you go. Spirituality is not, the only thing spirituality relates to is this. Show them, please. Breath, breathing, breathing. That is it. Breath, breathing, spirare, spirit, breath, breathe. Get it straight, black people. Get off the slate.
Now let's pause right there. And let's keep on going. Let's fast forward a little bit. All right. Let's go here.
He wants to lose his commitment. His commitment to what? He said rules without a relationship is empty. So he wants to lose his commitment to the rules. So now Kirk Franklin wants Christianity with no rules. And I'm going to prove it to you in a second. And that's what most Christians want. And that's why they love Christianity. They're not accountable for anything. If you're forgiven for everything you do, then you might as well go ahead and do whatever you want. You want to kill somebody, go kill them. You're going to be forgiven just by accepting Jesus Christ. You want to rape somebody, go ahead and rape them. You're going to be forgiven just by accepting Jesus Christ. It is a psychologically default religion. You understand what I'm saying? It's a green light to do whatever you want because you're always going to be forgiven. You're on a forgiven train. Okay? Now, here you go. Check it out. Let's look at, now the New Testament was not written in English. It was written in Greek. So when they use the word spirit in the New Testament, coming from the Greek, let's look at what the word spirit actually means in Greek. Okay, or what it says in Greek. Right, what were they talking about in the New Testament? In the Bible, pneuma. They use the term pneuma for spirit. And do you know what spirit means? I mean, what pneuma means? Breath and wind. So wait a minute. Take us back to the other one, bro. Take us back to the definition of spirit.
Now let's do, okay, so we know that in the Hebrews, the Israelites call spirit breath, wind. The Greeks call it pneuma, breath, wind. Now let's go to here. What did the Egyptians call it? So, we go to Shu in Egypt. So the Egyptian god is Shu, right? Shu, the ancient Egyptian god Shu is represented as a human with feathers on his head, right? Let's click on this. Shu. Okay? All right? Shu, Egyptian for emptiness, he who rises up. Okay? Now let's go here. It says myths. As the air, Shu was considered to be a cooling and thus calming influence and pacifier. Right? Due to the association with dry air. Air. Okay? This is the Egyptian name for God for air. It's Shu. And Hebrews called it Ruach. The Greeks called it Pneuma. It's an element. Okay? It's an element. Now, let's keep on going here.
Take us back to the definition of spirit. Spirit. What does spirit mean? Breath. Breathe. Take us right.
All I'm doing is reading. Reading. I'm not using no big words. I'm not trying to confuse anyone. I'm just asking you to think. And we're going to go into meditation. What is meditation? Because a lot of people use the word meditation and say you got to do this and do that just to so-called gain more special knowledge. We're going to go into what meditation really is.
Back to what you call it. to Strong's. There you go. It says it right there. Breath, wind. So when you're talking about spirituality, you are only talking about air and breath, breathing, wind. That is all spirituality has to do with. If you try to use it in another context, you are an ignorant person. And you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? There's a documentation in front of you. Here you go. Strong concordance, pneuma, wind, spirit. Why are they there? Because they're synonyms. They're one and the same. Okay? Part of speech, noun, neuter, transliteration, pneuma, short definition, wind, breath. Am I making this up, Sonetta? Go to 4151 in Strong Concordance and look in the Greek. This is what spirit means. Wind or breath or breathing. So if you're dealing with spirituality and it's not pertaining to wind, breath, air, or breathing, you're not doing anything spiritual. I just got to tell you that. Okay? Just so that you know. All right? Now it gives you the straight definition. Again, what does it say? Wind and breath. Spirit. They're synonyms. They all mean the same. When you use the word spirit, all you are talking about is breath, breathing, nothing else. Air, wind, nothing else.
Let me pause it right here. And because the flesh that we have is dead. So what is giving our fleshly bodies, or this so-called, this flesh that we have is so-called, is dead. It's dead raw material, like the brother said. Like this brother said, it's dead raw material. Where's it at? Where's the brother's video at? I'm going to go back to it. Black light spirit, like he said, it's dead raw material. So the air that we breathe is giving us the ability and mobility to make this physical vessel come to life. Speak. Now, let's go to, let's type in Strong's Concordance. Which one I want to use? Rock. Let's see, rock. Okay, so now you have to, we're right here on studylight.org, right? Studylight.org, okay? And it says here, Ruach, spirit, is used of both the so-called highest element in man and of the wind and breath as invisible, powerful, and indicative of life. You see that? So they're saying that this spirit, this breath, or this wind, this air, is the highest element. The highest element. What does indicative mean? You are made up of elements. You're walking elements. Indicative definition means serving as a sign, or say it's having, let's see, indicative, what does this word mean? Okay, so it's a verb form that represents the denoted act or state as an objective fact. Okay, so it's saying it's showing or signifying something. Okay, now let's go. Keep on going. Let's go back here.
There is another Greek word that also means spirit, and that word is psyche. or psyche. Okay? Psyche. Also psyche. Psyche, origin mid-17th century, via Latin from the Greek. Suke. Suke, meaning the same thing. What? Breath. Both Greek words for spirit mean breath. Psyche, if you look on the in the Wikipedia or a good encyclopedia or dictionary, it will tell you that, or go to an etymology dictionary, it will tell you that psyche was originally used as strictly just breathing, and then later on it came to mean spirit or spirit. Okay? So now, here we go. What does this mean? It means suki, breath, life. So anytime you're talking about spirituality, Sanetta, what are you talking about?
Breath. Or wind. Or wind.
What else? Air.
Yes, air.
That's it. Anything else? No. If you try to go out of that, then you're wrong. If you try to go out of those confines when you're dealing with spirituality, you know nothing about the word or what it means. You are illiterate. Okay? You don't know what you're talking about. Now, so now that we know that psyche, or now that we know that spirit only means breath, wind, or air, or breathing, that's all it means. Now we're going to look up in the Hebrew. We go to Strong's Concordance Hebrew, right? And the word is, yo, you just breached something, right? And the word is, here we go. Strong's Concordance Hebrew. Ruach. Breath, wind, spirit. You know, by all rights, bro, you know, by all rights, I should kill it right now because it was in the agreement. Yeah, I do. I'm in for that. Let's go. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Where we at? Thank you very much. We go back to sight. Now that we hear back at Suki, breath, life, soul, that means breathe. We have covered that. If you try to use spirituality in any other term, in any other way, you are wrong and you do not know what you're talking about. You are out of the confines. Now we're going to look at the Hebrew. Strong's Concordance Hebrew. Ruach, breath, wind, spirit. 7307. Go to the Hebrew. Okay? Strong's Concordance. Ruach, breath, wind. So now you got the word spirit. Here you go, Ruach, 7307. Breath, wind, spirit. You see that spirit means breath and wind?
We're simplifying it down. I'm simplifying it down for you. I'm not trying to confuse you. These are elements that took on form. That took on raw material form. This is your anthropomorphism, metaphysicalism, or metaphysical, allegorical, all wrapped in one. And it's your job to decode it, to realize that it's talking about you.
Again, the term ruach means breath and wind again. No matter which way you try to get out of using the term spirituality, spirituality is only going to mean this, breath and wind. It's never going to mean anything else. As long as you try to make it mean something else, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Oh yeah, if he's here, he might as well just come in and have a seat. Yeah, don't let him stand out there. Yeah. But, so, Strong Concordance. Ruach, breath, wind. Just to let y'all know, Red Pill just walked in the house. I'm sure y'all would want to know that. Go ahead, shout him out. Peace to the family, peace to the family. All right. Now, here we go. You should have been here for the first part of it. You missed some good shit. Anyway. No, you ain't see the, now I'm talking about the first part of this. Here we go. Strong Concordance, Ruach. Breath, wind, spirit. Original word, blah, blah, blah. Part of speech, noun, feminine. Transliteration, Ruach. Phonetic spelling, Ruach. Short definition, spirit. Okay? Now, if you go to studylight.org language site.
What are you talking about right here? We just looked at, where's it at? Studylight.org Right here.
Strong 7307 again for spirit, right, is used, God, complete silence, right, is used of both the soul. Now check it out, what it says about ruach, which means breath and wind. Again, you can't get away. Anytime you're dealing with the word spirit, if you're dealing with it in English, anytime you're dealing with the word spirit, if you're dealing with it in any of the languages that it comes from, the Latin, the French, the Greek, the Hebrew, they all mean the same thing. Breath, wind. Breath, wind. And spirit is always put in there as a synonym because it means one and the same. Esprit, to breathe. Okay? Now, to expirate. Have you ever heard the word expirate? To expirate means to breathe out forcefully. Okay? So let's be clear on what we're talking about. So a lot of people use words like spirituality, but they don't know what they're talking about because they don't know the origin of the words. You use words like religion and you don't know the origin of the words. So Kirk Franklin, you want to lose your religion? All you're saying is you want to lose your supreme commitment. That's it. And you want to help other people lose their supreme commitment. And like you said in your article, rules without a relationship is empty. And that's what you consider religion to be. Rules without a relationship. Which means what you want, Kirk Franklin, what you want is you want a relationship without rules. Not save you, forgotten the law. All right, let's move to the next one. Now, in ancient Egypt, we had a name for it. We knew the name of this God that you call God. All right, the one you call God was God in his aspect of Shu, and there he is. Go read about him in the book Egyptian Symbols, still in publishing.
So we went to the Wikipedia, right? And it says Shu, from emptiness, and he who rises up was one of the primordial Egyptian gods. As air, Shu was considered to be cooling and thus calming influence associated with air. Same thing what we read here on Wikipedia. Right? Same thing.
Page 99 by Hike Owusu. It says, Shu, Egyptian for emptiness. Why? Because air is empty. You cannot touch it. Right? It means for emptiness and he who rises up. Why? What does air do? It rises. Okay? He was one of the primordial Egyptian gods and a personification of air. Let's go back, please. All right. What is air again? Right? Air is air and wind. Right here. Wind. Ruach. Wind. Breath. Breathing. See it right here? Breathing. Psyche. Breath. Life. In ancient Kemet, we just called it Shu. That's it. As the air, Shu was considered to be cooling and thus calming, influence and pacifier. Due to the association with air, calm and thus ma'at, truth, justice, and order. Shu was portrayed in art as wearing an ostrich feather. Shu was seen with between 1 and 4 feathers. The ostrich feather was symbolic of light and emptiness, dealing with air. Fog and clouds were also Shu's elements, and they were often called his bones. Because of his position between the sky and earth, he was also known as what? The wind. What do they call ruach? So in Shu, in ancient in Hebrew, they were called Shu ruach, wind. That's it. Ruach, wind. Over here, if you want to call him in Greek, you will call him Numa. Numa, wind, air, breath, breathing. So if you're talking about spirituality, what I wanted our people to know, which is very important to me, is that, and look, let's look at some of those rules that Kirk Franklin, I can't call me a crackhead. I don't get on the adulterers. That says, if you want more forgiveness, pill, fool, to breathing. very important. It is talking about the commitment to continue breathing. Why is this important? And why is this the supreme value in religious thinking, or in religious axiology? That's the word I wanted. Why is this a supreme value in religious axiology? The commitment to keep breathing. I'm going to tell you why, so that I don't ever forget you heard it, because you heard it here. So the greatest fear is to exist in a perpetual state, not being able to breathe. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
That's what this is all about. It is the supreme commitment to breathing. Why? That is what eschatological literature is all about. This is all about the hereafter. If people were not concerned about the hereafter and being able to breathe and be okay when they're on the other side, none of this would even matter. They wouldn't care about it. They wouldn't care about Jesus. They wouldn't care about the Bible. They wouldn't care about none of that. So what this really all comes down to is, will I have the capacity to breathe after I have left this world, after I have left this body, after you have expired? Will you have the capacity to still breathe? That's what spirituality is all about, breathing. And what these religions are about, these supreme commitments, you have been sold the idea that if you remain committed to this doctrine, that when you die, you will continue to breathe as you have always known once you have expired. And I'll prove to you that this is correct. The word inspired, the key word in expired, I said all of this is about your concern of what happens to your breathing after you have expired. Even in the word expired is the word spire. Breathing. This is all about breathing. You understand? So this is what you have to understand when you're dealing with spirituality and religion. Spirituality is about breathing. Religion is about a supreme commitment. So what this whole thing is that we're all dealing with, the Bible and all these unnecessary stories that they put in the way that they got nothing to do with nothing. This is all about what will be your capacity or state of breathing after you have expired in this life. Because what's everybody's worst nightmare? Wake up and you can't breathe. You got to hold your breath for eternity. Imagine being in that. Right? All kind of nightmares. The negative affirmations of I can't breathe. Yeah, well, just that, even that alone, that's very good. That's a very good idea. It's a very good concept. The whole I can't breathe movement, even though it was based on what he was saying, what the brother Eric Garner was saying, the reality is, people do not understand how important breathing is. They really don't. We take it for granted because we do it automatically. Our bodies automatically do it. But people who have asthma, severe asthmatics, they can tell you about the fear of not being able to take their very next breath for hours. Like they feel like they're on their deathbed. When something interferes, if you want to know how important breathing is right now, put your hand over your mouth and put your hand over your nose and hold it for an hour and don't breathe. You couldn't even do it for barely a minute. Most of you can't do it for a minute. That's how essential air is to our life. That is how essential oxygen is to our life. It is God itself. You understand? And in fact, that's why it's called the Holy Spirit.
You sound like you deal with metaphysics, man.
I don't touch metaphysics.
It sound like you deal with metaphysics.
I don't touch metaphysics. Dude, most people, stop. You don't even know stop, bro. I'm gonna give you a lecture on metaphysics that's gonna blow your mind. And when I'm done, you will never use the word again, ever. And not in my presence you won't, I guarantee you. Okay? So, most people, see, that's why I'm giving, Most of my lectures are going to be about teaching people what words actually mean. Because the language has us messed up. We're using words like, oh, I want to get away from religion and move to spirituality. But you don't know what spirituality is. How do I know? You don't know the definition of the word. How do I know? Because you don't know the origin of the word. If you knew the origin of the word, Greek, pneuma, spitting, breath, breathing, wind, air, right? Hebrew, what does it mean? It's spirit. To say spirit, you must say ruach. What does ruach mean? It means breath, breathing, wind, air, spirit, right? Because it's all one and the same. So if you're not talking about breath, breathing, wind, and air, you're not talking about spirituality. Use the stop. Don't use the word spirit, because all you're doing is using a later term that was created to describe something else that has an original description. Use the original description. Wind. Don't say God, say wind. Or say air. Or say shoe. Absolutely.
So shoe animates the physical body, us.
Yes.
But it's the shoe which is also, they said
It's
it's
omnipresent.
It's all around.
Absolutely.
So that would be the deity or the energy
Yes.
that gives us life.
And I'll tell you right here to prove that, what you just said. There you go.
Did you what he just said?
To the Hebrew. Right here. Look.
Gives us life.
Absolutely.
So that would be the deity also, they said it's omnipresent.
It's omnipresent. Absolutely.
So shoe animates the physical body, us.
Yes.
But it's the shoe which is also, they said it's omnipresent.
It's omnipresent.
It's all around.
Absolutely.
So that would be the deity or the energy
Yes.
that gives us life.
Stop. So, in your Bible, let's go to Genesis 1:1. We can take the word ruach, air, the word pneuma, air, wind, or the word shoe, and replace that word with God. Genesis 1:1. These are elements that has no gender. But man, when he was formed, when he came into being, he gave the elements anthropomorphic names. So in the beginning, Shu, or the Ruach, created the heavens and the earth. Right? Because the dirt in the ground needs oxygen, doesn't it? The air, the heavens and the sky is air. The earth is the ground, is dirt, needs oxygen, air, Shu, Ruach. Verse 2. Uh-oh. Genesis 1:1. Genesis 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed. The sky and the earth, or the ground, were completed, and all their vast and blah, 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 blah. And things of that nature. Okay, now, let's go ahead and read about anthropomorphism. I got too many windows open. Let's close some of these windows out. Okay? All I'm doing is reading for you. Anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism is the attribution of human traits, emotions, or intentions to non-human entities. The air is non-human. The ground, the dirt, is non-human. Right? Earth, wind, and fire, carbon, elements. It is considered to be an innate tendency of human psychology. Personification is the related attribution of human form and characteristics to abstract, right? Concepts such as nations, emotions, and natural forces, such as seasons and weather. Okay? This is what this is. All right? So your abstract would be this, having human heads with dogs, like dog head with human bodies. Okay? Now, what does the word meditate mean? Meditation is thinking. Meditation comes from the Latin, means thinking. Thinking, that's all it is. So when they say you need to meditate more, all it is thinking. You're always meditating. You're constantly thinking. Oh man, what should I eat for dinner tomorrow? You're thinking about what you're gonna eat tomorrow. Oh man, you like, oh man, I think I gotta go to the bathroom. I think I need to go fix me something to eat. You know what I'm saying? I think I need to go to the store to go get something. You're constantly thinking. This is what meditation is. Thinking. Meditation. Right? Continuous calm of thought. It's a thought. Okay? This is what this is. Now, let's go into stellar nucleosynthesis. Synthesis. Right? Now, let's read this real quick. To show you that we're made up of chemicals, right? So let's go back here to nuclear transmutation. It says nuclear transmutation is the conversion of one chemical element or an isotope into another chemical element. Because any element or isotope of one is defined by its number of protons and neutrons in its atoms, i.e. in the atomic nucleus. Nuclear transmutation occurs in any process where the number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus is changed. Now, check this out. So this says that the sun is a natural fusion reactor and transmutes light elements into heavier elements through stellar nucleosynthesis, a form of nuclear fusion. Okay? Now, let's click on this stellar nucleosynthesis. Stellar nucleosynthesis is the creation of chemical elements by nuclear fusion. So here's your chemical elements. The chemical elements is a species of atoms having the same number of protons in their atomic nuclei. For example, the atomic number of oxygen is 8. Oxygen is what? Air. And by nuclear fusion reactions within stars. So here's your nuclear fusion. Now it says here that stars evolve because of changes in their composition, the abundance of their constituent elements over their lifespans, first by burning hydrogen, then helium, and progressively burning higher elements. Okay? So we are elements. They take on raw materials. So in your Bible, we talk about anthropomorphism. Though that's us. They're speaking about. That's you. That's you to take on physical form. Okay? All I did was read. All I did was read the material. And broke the information down for you. You can read this on your own. You think I'm lying? Read the information. Now let's go back here. So it says alchemy was an ancient branch of natural philosophy, a philosophical and proto-scientific tradition practiced throughout Europe, Africa, and Asia. Alchemists attempted to purify, mature, and perfect certain materials. Okay? says common names were chrysopopia, the transmutation of base metals, lead into noble metals, particularly gold, the creation of an elixir of immortality. All right? The perfection of the human body and soul was thought to permit or result from the alchemical magnum opus, meaning the greatest work. Okay? Now you can read all of this stuff on your own. Now I just broke it down for you. We are chemicals. Chemicals. We are chemicals. So, when you look at this, they said that the sun is the star. The sun is the star at the center of the solar system, right? It is by far the most important source of energy for life on Earth. What is energy? Okay? Read it. Look what they say. So they tell you right here, that what we see in the sky, they say false color photo of the sun is seen in ultraviolet light. So the sun is really black, because it's telling you right here that the sun this is a false color. False color photo of the sun is seen in ultraviolet light. Okay? The enormous effect of the sun on Earth has been recognized since prehistoric times, meaning whenever you see prehistoric, that means before the white man. And the sun has been regarded by some cultures as a deity. What is deity? God. Okay? The Latin name for sun is soul. Soul. So, the sun, or this soul that's in the sky, it goes against white people's nature. So God is against, if we want to go off these terms, the sun or the God, the soul, they're telling you that soul. They're telling you that the English proper name sun derived from Old English, writing things of that nature. The Latin name for sun, the Latin name for the sun, soul, is not commonly used in everyday language. You see that? The English weekday name Sunday stands for Old English. Okay? So when people go to church on Sundays, take off the word day and they're worshiping the sun, the life giver, or the soul, God. And we know that the sun gives black people melanin. So the sun in the sky, the soul of the sky, is we are the children of the sun. Black people with melanin. We are the children of the sun. Okay? This is facts. We are the children of the sun. And they just told you that the sun, this is a false color. So it's actually black. And we know that, so it says that this sun is a false color. So if this is not the original color, what color is it supposed to be? It's really black. You already proved that in my other video. If you read the book by Dr. Osei Kafour, that the sun is really dark matter. It's dark, right? And people with melanin have dark skin because this gives them their melanin. So this is God. Okay? All right? Now, one more thing. Let's listen to this brother real quick.
itself mean because in order to go to try to understand something, that in itself is science. We are trying to understand something hotter than the fire in hell in the Bible are scared to go to hell because of the hell's fire, right? Well, didn't they say that God is an all-consuming fire? Which is pretty much making a statement that, the fire in heaven is much hotter than the fire in hell.
Now, we just showed and proved that we're standing on the earth and we are in heaven, right? We're standing on the earth and we are in heaven. And God is in heaven, right? Because the Son is God, right? The soul giver, the life giver, right? And black people with melanin comes from the soul, comes from the source. Okay? So, we are looking at ourselves and God's glorified body, because it says that God is all light, right? Follow me now. It says that God is all light, right? The sun in the sky is a light, it's the light bearer. It's all light. It's the all-consuming fire, right? And we know that we cannot stare at the sun with these physical eyes because it will blind us. Unless you put on sunglasses, but you still won't be able to look into the sun. You still won't be able to look at the sun for long periods of time, right? So we are looking at ourselves in its glorified form, right? If you want to call it that, in its glorified form, without a body. So like I said, we've been looking for God in the book, but it goes both ways. In physical form, you look in the mirror, you're looking at God in physical form, in dense form. Okay? In so-called chemical form or alchemy form, all right, or elemental form, the highest form. You know what I'm saying? It's the sun in the sky. And white people lack that source. They lack soul. They lack soul. Now, one more thing. One more thing, and then I'm going to cut my video off. And like I said, YouTube's supposed to be taking videos down December 10th. And if you want to get in contact with me and learn this stuff for free of charge, contact me at HebrewsandNegroes@gmail.com. Now listen to this.
How we say, so big.
And we do it
You already know where we came
of God.
No, I know God. I know it is because we invented the idea and the concept.
Okay.
That's an African thing.
Okay. So, and then that answers my first question. Second question is, after death,
Okay.
what is after that? What is your belief after death?
Who the hell would know that?
So you believe that there's no way of knowing?
What I'm saying is, do you have any children?
Yeah.
Then you cannot die.
Okay. So,
Do you get that?
That's what I meant.
No, do you get that though? Do you
Yeah,
understand?
I get that. But my other question is your spirit. Of course, with whatever it is here.
You
What
mean my
believe.
energy? My energy.
Right, your energy.
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you think your energy goes?
I got
After
5
that?
children. They have my energy.
Okay, so you believe. So okay, that's
No, I
my
know
question.
that
So
they
you
will
know
continue life.
that. Okay, so when your energy goes into your children. If you don't have any children, your energy just goes nowhere.
No. I am. In case y'all didn't know, take a basic science class, right? With 70% water. So 70%.
Now, he said we're 70% water. I proved that in my last video. 75% water.
Will go back to water, and the other 30% is the elements. And now you're talking about spiritual energy. You're really talking about sun energy. Energy. Solar. We live in a solar system. Live in a sun system.
He's talking about that. What we looking at. They're telling you. They're telling you. The sun. The proper name sun, derived from Old English, right? The Latin name for sun, for the sun, is Sol. Sol is also used by so-called planetary astronomers to refer to the duration of solar system, blah, 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 blah. Sol, right? Sol. This is what this is.
Well, we live in a soul system. S-O-U-L or S-O-L. That's why we're the children of soul.
Children of soul. Children of the sun. This.
So really there is nowhere for us to go. We'll go back from where we came. We come from the earth. We come from the cosmos. Literally speaking, we're stardust. That's right. We're dust.
What is the sun? What is this? What is the sun? What is God? They just told you. The sun. The sun is what? He said we're stardust. The sun is the star at the center. The sun is the star. What is a star? Okay? The nearest star to the earth is the sun. Y'all niggas don't get this.
Literally speaking, we're stardust. That's right. We're dust. Literally. That's just science. We're stardust. We'll go back to stars. Because we are stars. We're the children of the sun. But we just don't know it. Stars. Because we are stars. We're the children of the sun. But we just don't know it. Because we follow someone else's ancestors.
That's right.
We don't die. Niggas just multiply.
That's right.
That's just basic. If the world was to crack up the day tomorrow, you're going to have some black people running around. You already know it. You already know it. You already got it. We're living predominantly on a brown planet. The majority of people on the planet are people of color. White people are an extension of us through mutation. Color. White people are an extension of us through mutation. Color. White people are an extension of us through mutation. White people are an extension of us through mutation.
Go back and watch all 4 parts of my videos. Making of the white man. White people come from black people. No matter how you try to cut it, they are a genetic mutation through black people having sexual reproduction. That's facts. If people can do it, you don't think animals can do it? Look at the gorilla snowflake. 2 black gorillas got together and produced an albino. White. So white people are albinos. The opposite of black is white. But they have you thinking that dark or black is evil. But no. The African, so-called ancient African cultures around the world, they painted their faces white, and they said white was death and black was beauty.
We've been around since the first son. There is no first, second, or third. So the Christians, they lie. They say, to live forever, you gotta die. See? But this symbol says, you don't die. Life is eternal. The opposite of death is birth. But life is eternal. Ever, since the first Sunday. We're living predominantly on a brown planet. The majority of people on the planet are people of color. White people are an extension of us through mutation. White people are an extension of us mutation. Just literally. S-O-U-L or S-O-L. That's why I'm name soul. Water.
Goes into your children. If you don't have any children, your energy just goes nowhere.
No. I am. In case y'all didn't know, take a basic science class, right? Which
Let me help you. I got 5 minutes. Let's see if I can help you do this in 5 minutes. Let me show you. You want visuals? Let's go to visuals. That's why white people are sitting back laughing at you. Because they know what this stuff is. They know what it is. Human body elements. Images. Right here. Right here. Here it is. Hydrogen. Oxygen. Right? Water. They're both water. 65% down here. Up here. Right? Air. This is just a water form. This is just water in a liquid form. Oxygen in a gaseous form. Right? Okay? 65% down here. 10% up here. Add them all together. 75%. What did he say?
70% water. Y'all didn't know, take a basic science class, right? With 70% water. So 70% of me will go back to water, and the other 30% is elements.
Right here. Right here. Right here. So you got 70, right? 75% right here. Okay? That's 75%, and then you got carbon and nitrogen, right? And you add those up, right? Okay? What else you say?
And now you're talking about spiritual energy. You're really talking about sun energy. Energy. Solar. We live in a solar system. Live in a sun system. Or we live in a soul system. S-O-U-L or S-O-L. That's why we're the children of soul. You know, you got soul. So really there is nowhere for us to go. We'll go back from where we came. We come from the earth. We come from the cosmos.
So does white people have soul energy, solar energy? No. They do not have solar energy. Because if they did, the solar energy of the sun would not be contrary against it, would not burn them up. Okay?
Almost, literally speaking, we're stardust.
That's right.
We're dust, literally. That's just science. We're stardust. We'll go back to stars. Because we are stars. We're the children of the sun. But we just don't know it. Because we follow someone else's ancestor.
That's right.
We don't die. Niggas just multiply.
That's right.
That's basic. If the world was to crack up the day of tomorrow, you're going to have some black people running around. You already know it. You already know it. You already got it. We're living predominantly on a brown planet. The majority of people on the planet are people of color. White people are an extension of us through mutation. We've been around. The majority of people on the planet are people of color. White people are an extension of us through mutation. White people are an extension of us through mutation.
If you're following someone that's asking you for money and they're not breaking that stuff down step by step, you need to get from up under them, because they are con artists, they are taking your money, and they are pimping you, because they know you're not going to crack open a book, think for yourself, and be judgmental and question your very existence. With that being said, I say peace to you, and 9 times out of 10, this might be my last video. Thanks for listening, watching, and supporting. Peace.